Good day, everybody. Today we're going to do lesson plan 7, grade 4, term 2. The topic is common fractions, equivalent forms. It also links to DBE workbook worksheet number 38. Just quickly going to show you there. I'm going to go back to the lesson plan. This is then the link to the caps. Then what I want you to do is I want you to pause here and then look at the resources needed. And then what is equivalent fractions and equivalent forms? For you as parent and for teacher, this is a very important concept that you need to understand to support your child or to teach your class. Then after pausing, we're back and welcome back. So we're going to start then the mental mathematics with the learners. So we're going to show them these 10 number sentences. They're going to complete it. They're going to do it orally or they can write it down. So it's time to pause. Welcome back. Let's quickly look at the answers. So we're going to look at the answers and we're going to check it or you're going to mark it. And then we're going to carry on with the next activity. So let's quickly look here. So again, like in the previous activity, we made use of the fraction board or the fraction wall. Very, very excellent tool to teach learners fractions. Remember what we first do is we teach fractions through diagrams. Don't try to convert. Don't try to find the highest common factors and those type of things. I want you to focus on the diagrammatic parts of fractions. It's also recommended like this in the curriculum document. So I want you to pause here and I want the learners to explain each of these. So I'm just going to give you an example. This is 1/2, 2 halves. 2 halves gives me 1. Here is 1/3. I've got another third. I've got another third. So 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, and that gives me 1 whole. I want you then to explain the rest of this fraction wall. It's time to pause. Welcome back. So what we're going to look at is we're going to look at equivalent fractions. Now, if we look at the board here at the top and we look here, remember fractions, this is fractions, it's one shape that's divided into 2 equal parts. If we look here at the top at the fraction board as well, this is also one rectangle that's divided into 2 equal parts. So that half and that half, it means the same. So let's quickly see. I've got 1/2 here. I've got 1/2 there at the top. I've got 2 quarters. So if I look 2 quarters, I see 2 quarters are equal to 1/2. So we got 1/2 equal to 2 quarters. Let's go look at 3 sixths. So I've got 3 sixths and I've got 3 sixths. I can just look at the diagrams and I can see it's equal. So now we're going to look at 4 eighths. So 1, 2, 3, 4 eighths. I can see it's the same as a 1/2, 2 quarters, 3 sixths. So 1/2, 2 quarters, 3 sixths, and 4 eighths are all equal. So we call these equivalent fractions. So let's look at another example. So I've got 1/3 here. So it's equal to 2 sixths. Let's go and look at our board. We got 1/3 here. And when we go down there, we got 2 sixths and we see it's equal. I want you to pause here now and explain what is equivalent fractions. Okay, so let's quickly going to carry on with the next example. So here on this, we can also see that 1/2 is equal to 2 quarters. So very important again is, can you see we always show the 1 whole as well? Because 1/2 plus 1/2 makes 1 whole. 1 quarter plus a quarter plus a quarter plus a quarter makes 1 whole. But 1/2 is equal to 2 quarters. What about this one? 8 is, we got 3 6s equals to 4 8s. I want you to pause the video here and then explain each of these examples. It's always good also to have a number chart or a number wall. At the end of the lesson is a number wall that can be printed, and then to cut these pieces and to build them again, like a puzzle. Remember, how more practical work we do, how more we understand the concept. So let's go. You can go to the DBE workbook activity, or you can use the SA Teacher worksheet. I want you for the first question to use your fraction wall chart to complete then these. I want you to find equivalent fraction or fractions for each of these. Let's go to the next activity. So here you're going to draw. Please get a ruler and a pencil, and what you're going to do then is you're going to draw these equivalent fractions. Then the problem solving, I want you to go through the problem solving step by step, and then I want you to answer it. Remember, you can always make a drawing to understand it better. Then I want you to pause here to do the problem solving and then to do this extra activity. These activities are always coming from old exam or test papers. Then the remediation is for those that struggled a bit with the fractions. Here is an example again, and very important again is to make use of your fraction wall chart. Let's then come to the consolidation. So with the consolidation, if you clicked yes on both, you carry on with the next lesson. If you got a no, you need to revisit or revise certain concepts, or contact us as SA Teacher. I just quickly want to show you on the last page of this lesson plan is then your fraction wall chart.